Good afternoon, all, and thank you for joining. Just give us 2 3 minutes more. We are waiting for more attendees to join. Thank you so much for your patience. Good afternoon, everyone. We truly appreciate you craving some time out of your busy afternoon and joining us today. I'm Monica from Cloud.in and thrilled to welcome you all for this session on why SMBs are the new target for the hackers and how AWS and Cloud.in can protect your reputation. At Cloud.in, we believe a growing business's most valuable currency is its reputation. And unfortunately, cyber criminals are working harder than ever to bankrupt that trust. While the headlines focus on enterprises, SMBs have quietly become the path of least resistance for modern hackers. Today, we explore why the shift is happening and how our partnership with AWS provides the enterprise grade armor to you to shield your brand and your future. To lead this session, today we have with us our regional sales head, Vishal Dhanpale, and a lead technical cloud assistant, Swapnil Vaidya. For a seamless experience, I request you all to hold your questions till the end of the session. Over to you, Vishal. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you. First of all, all delegates, thank you, taking out the time and joining this session and be part of with us, for this webinar. Myself, Vishal Danfule, I'm a part of a business team at the Cloudin. Okay. So next, around 10 minutes, I would like to, present you what as an organization we do. Okay. Who are we, first of all, right? What as an organization we do, what is our strength areas, which are the verticals where we, work with our end customer. So this is what, something which we like to take. So first of all, this is a very interesting topic and it's very, very close to SMB segment, right? And everyone knows today, okay, how the SMB is important in the part of our country's economy, and what is the SMB's role. Everyone knows about it, right? Even every I would like to say today GTM of any services is get worked out. The very important role of SMB segment comes in there. Okay, and so this topic is not, I would like to say, only specific to SMB, but how it's important to SMB, which is getting gear up as a next economic growth. I think so. This is very important, and I'm very happy that today with me, my colleague Swapnil is also part of this, webinar, and who's is a techie expert. Uh, so thanks first of all joining. Uh, so we as a Cloudin, as an organization, as a hosting services private limited, is a 26-year-old organization. We known as a technology organization. Reason behind that, because of, our entire ecosystem of the organization is built up with the end customer and the technology stack, and that's how the way today we are working on. So 26 years old plus organization, 100 plus cloud certification, certified resources, 24 by 7 knock and sock support, 200 plus live workloads, 100 plus teams, strength. We are carrying pan India. Even in fact, we are global offices. We have our office at Delaware. We are looking for our global expansion in this year. We have a 40,000 plus domain managed services. Then we manage cloud resources, which is around 10,000 plus, and we serve to the pan India customer. Now it's very, very important, right? When we comes, who are we, right? And as I said, we are a technology organization. We work important our role it comes in as a partner. That's only something I would like to highlight. Today, a lot of SMBs, I would like to say, SMBs, manufacturing, even mid-sized enterprise, I would like to say, their focus area is on their business, their digital transformation journey, a lot of new application development, lot of new product launching, go-to-market strategy. In that case, the very very important part comes in is an IT infrastructure, right? And this IT infrastructure when comes in, so then there is a consultation, solution building around it, project management, deliverables, even managing that infrastructure. This is how the role, some these SME is looking for a good partner. And I think so that is where the area where we comes in as a cloud in as a partner to the customer. So our role as a partner comes. So when I say the partner, we work partner to the customer to understand their basically business, what is their roadmap, future roadmap, what are their strategies behind the business strategies, and then accordingly what are the specific requirements in IT. Specifically I would like to say the supporting to the business support areas, that what we understand first from our customer end. And then we do a lot of consultation at our end with our OEM partners, okay, where we are the partner, and then we give the right solution to the customer. Now when we were doing this all around 26 years, we have developed I would like to say produce and a lot of develop capabilities around the ecosystem. We are advanced consulting partner of AWS. And I think so we started our journey around 10 12 years back with AWS. With this AWS we have multiple partnership with multiple OEMs. That is something I would like to take through you throughout my presentation. So this is the journey of the Cloudin, where we started in the 1999, which is a very very the year of digital. I would like to say the footprint, which was very very core competencies where you required. So we started our business with a digital ads and online portal serving. I think so that time it was a world of, I would like to say, cyber services, where you're supposed to get internet through cyber services only. And I think so that's the era where we started, and that's how the foundation of the organization understand each and every aspect of the technology today, because the start itself is with the very basic. Then we started with domain hosting services. So today, as I show you, right, we are around 40,000 plus domains we are managing. So the hosting name itself is coming I would like to say from that domain services area. In 2015 we started our journey into the 1999 till 2015. We understand a lot of technology stack, understanding data center footprint, helping to the customer to I would like to say leverage their digital landscape. And 2015 we started our major milestone as an achievement. We started our partnership with AWS. Right today, I think so most of you knows what is the AWS of the world, Microsoft of the world, Google of the world, which I don't want to get into this much more. Okay, so this is a the specifically into the public cloud services area. And I think so 2015 year it was the even I would like to say start for AWS operation in India. And there itself we will start our partnership. Eventually this partnership has evolved, I would like to say, with the competencies, with the expertise, lot of critical projects where we work with our end customers. And this is all entire competencies grown to the 2016 we launched as our Cloudin as a brand. 2018 and towards 22 we achieved many more competencies and service delivery programs with AWS ecosystem. 2023 and 24 year is a very very important years in the milestone, where we got specialized competencies from the AWS. And 2025 onwards we are as a GenAI competency partner. Now might be you will have coming in question as on what are these competency, why it's so important, right? So I would like to highlight for the next 2 minutes on the what as a partner we play as a role, right? In market might be there are many other partners, right? But then what as a Cloudin we do, right? The 26 years plus organization, 100 plus team strength, pan India presence, managing 10,000 plus managed cloud resources. And this is what exactly our strength, which we built up through all this competency. So this is something which I would like to take up and I want to take through you. These are all competencies how we achieved, right? This is very important. So these are all competencies we were achieved when we were working with our end customer. We understand critical their requirements, the microservices solution requirement. And with this all working, we develop all these competencies. So these competencies, when we develop, in that means these all I would like to say the expertise, technical expertise is with me today. These all 100 plus resources, I would like to say, these all are certified resources. With they have certain specific certifications at their different L1, L2, L3 levels, and with all these competencies we achieve through all that competencies and through the critical workloads what we delivered for our end customer. Okay, so we have specifically, I would like to highlight that we have GenAI services competency, we have migration and modernization competency, SMB competition, which is a very, very important area which Swapnil is going to talk. Education services competency also we are already having, and we serve to a lot of reputed education institutions. Microsoft workloads, right? This is very important area because today any of SME segment you go, you will find the Microsoft already ruling some and into the AD of the world, their O365 of the world. But then that's all Microsoft licensing services has a monopoly in the market. Then advanced tier partnership solution provider, yes, we works into the public sector also, and well architect partner. So this well architect partner competencies gives us basically strength to do the entire architectural review of your if you are already using some services, already using some AWS cloud native services, we can do a lot of architecture review against it, and we can give a recommendations around it. Yes, which I was talking about, right? Our more competencies like web delivery, control tower. So these are the specific the competencies we basically achieved throughout the last 10-12 years during working with our end customers. Now this is very, very important slides for me, and overall this is a basically entire pyramid where we works, right? So where is the important role as a partner becomes, right? So any basically initiative any organization takes in, right? They basically looks into the business prospect first. What is their GTM, what are their product, what kind of the applications required, and all with this, what is the infrastructure required. And I think so that's the role where the cloud plays a very, very important role. Okay, so this infrastructure is basically, I would like to say, this is the very important the role where we comes in, right? uh, so as I said you, right, we are a advanced consulting partner of AWS, but we have very, very good expertise into the data center expertise we have in house. We are a strategic partner with other OEMs like Microsoft and the GCP of the world. We are the partnership with security services, right, which is above the layer of your infrastructure. So we have a very, very strategic partnership with Checkpoint, F5, and Fortinet of the world, Palo Alto of the world. Data protections, which is one of the important area. We have a partnership with Dhruva, HCL Software, Trend Micro. Then we have observability kind of platforms, which is a more need of the today's era. We are a very, very strategic partner with New Relic, data streaming and cloud infrastructure, VMware basically. So this is a paradigm, right? So when we said is a managed services partner, which we serve our customer 24/7, right? This role is very important because today customer is not only looking for a infrastructure standpoint of view, they are looking at a services standpoint for with a standpoint of view with us. And when services comes in, so services comes in with, there's a when any application we host from the cloud, so infrastructure is a very important part. With infrastructure there's a security, how you build up. With the security, what kind of the data protection structure we build up. With the protection, what kind of the observability is very important, right? Once your production is live, your environment is live, what kind of the observability is been you are using at the back end, how you are monitoring your infrastructure, how it's performing, where if we are finding threats, where we are finding the scalability, agility, all these factors comes under as an observability. Okay, so this is how our role plays. So my team, a cloud-in team, has a combination of all these expertise in place today. So when I said we have a 24/7 managed services operation, this 24/7 operation is a combination of this entire technical expertise team. Okay, so then customer doesn't has to go for specific to the security related area, to some other OEM, yeah, some other partner. They don't have to go for a data protection related solution to some other partner OEM. They don't have to looking for any other solution which is an observability, a monitoring platform. These all services you will get in a one window, I would like to say, that is with the cloud. And that is how the the differences we create in the market, that is the differences what we created with our existing customer. That is what the difference is. We keep doing, when we keep upskilling our technology knowledge, technology stack, everything across the, whatever we build up. And that's the where I would like to say why, as a cloud in with a 26 years founding, experience and 100 plus people team, where we would like to work with you. This is a very good area. During this entire last 25 plus years, we worked with across multiple sectors: media and entertainment, e-commerce, then information technology, public sector, automobile, edtech, FMCG, financial services, pharma and healthcare, manufacturing, non-profit organization, and startups. Then service delivered by us, on-prem to cloud migration, which I just highlighted to you, right? So this is all basically very important. On-prem to cloud migration, multi-cloud migration, well architect reviews, which I already discussed with you all, serverless deployment, CDN edge security, containerized deployment, cost optimization. So this is basically the entire area where we works with our end customer. Yeah, the very specialty, which I've been discussed with you all. This is a 24/7 knock and sock. That's the area where we give end-to-end support to our end customer through our knock and sock services. This is a managed services paradigm where we work. What kind of the expertise with us, that was already I discussed with you all. This is some of the numbers which I would like to say: the 99% uptime, 40 to 50%, fewer security incidences, which we has been, handled at through our SOC and NOC operations, high availability across the workloads, improved SLA, 70% reductions in manual checks. So a lot of automation process we build up, throughout these monitoring services, and whenever we manage that infrastructure. 97% tasks are automated 24/7 with 365 days across the way. Uh, Now, during working this entire ecosystem, we observed, the need of certain IP development, and these are the IPs which we have developed in our own ecosystem. This is our own IP, I would like to say. So when we were working, on the media segment, the content streaming, and CDN networks, where we need to observe. We developed CloudFront as a Virgin Vault as our product. Then we have a very good, I would like to say, the SIM tool, where we can do entire your endpoint protection to your security management. I would like to say audit management. This is through our Rudra Sentinel as a single platform. Okay, so monitor system, detect threats, and fix vulnerabilities quickly. This is our own developed SIM tool. Then we have a Evalix AI, which is an AI based platform which use basically for the assessment purpose. Okay, any kind of induction, any kind of HR training, in house, any trainings you are looking for, that's kind of any training programs, any education, I would like to say, you conduct. This Evalix basically helps you to run the assessment throughout the that particular program. Then we have a very good tool which is a multi-cloud billing management, that is called Freedom. If anyone has a hybrid cloud platform, this Freedom as a tool can help you track a cost, optimize the spending, and manage multiple cloud services easily. Then we have a Niantrak, right? Niantrak is a very secure, cloud governance and configuration control platform, which is a very Niantrak itself is a Sanskrit name, which can control, basically governs and configure your control the platform. I think so. This is I will be love and happy to connect with you all in person after this webinar and take you through one-on-one sessions also in detail. As a time limit, I would like to stop here myself. Thank you very much, and I'm handing over to the Swapnil for the next session. Thank you all.
Thank you so much for your time, Vishal. I will share my screen. Just let me know when it is visible.
It's visible. Confluent something.
Yeah,
it's visible.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you all of you for joining. I think Vishal has pretty much covered in terms of what we cover at Cloud.in, right? I would like to cover more in terms of technical understanding and very much related to what we are covering as a topic today. So just to cover, right, what you are facing in terms of SMBs, right? So most of you are, let's say, if you're hosted on AWS, Azure, or any other cloud platform, or even on premises today, you are, let's say, crossing the stage where you're coming across different challenges, right? Because you are at a stage where the business is growing. It's also important that you sit back and also look at the overall business from security standpoint, because what we believe in cloud.in is security is not a reactive approach, but it's always proactive. So whenever you are hosted on cloud, right, you have to make sure that you cover it from different aspects. Just to from the presentation perspective, right, what we're covering as agenda today is why all the SMBs, I mean, face different level of cyber attacks, threats, and again how cloud.in comes in specifically in this area with respect to different AWS services and how we can prevent those attacks. Again, different business benefits, case studies is what I'll cover. Along with that, we have our own product as well, Rudra Sentinel, which is an SIM tool. So how that comes into the picture and how that safeguards overall cloud infrastructure, I'll try to cover that as well. End of it, we will have a, I mean, again, overall security posture, how we cover different aspects of security, and end of it, we'll close the session with Q&A. So if you have any questions, please hold on to them. We'll definitely try to cover them and answer them. Again, why SMBs face cyber attacks, right? As I said previously, because there is some amount of time we have already had in the industry, and overall because the infrastructure, you are already storing some amount of data and your application as well, right? It's important that you look at it from security standpoint as well. The attacks can come from any places if the infrastructure is not solidified enough, if you have not made sure that you look at it from resiliency perspective as well as from security perspective, right? So let's say if you're hosted on cloud, if you're hosted, whether it's private or public, right? The cyber attacks can be from anywhere, and what our data shows is that 60% of SMBs face one or the other type of cyber attack each year. Hackers can target SMBs because in most of the places, for SMBs, security may not be the top priority, and if it is not considered as top priority along with other aspects, which is cost saving or other implementing business functionalities, right? That's the reason why even in hacker community, it's seen as easy targets. What are the common threats that we're looking at? It's ransomware, phishing, and malware attacks as well. So ransomware is, let's say, your data is stolen by any of the persons or hackers, and they're asking you to pay the ransom. Unless that ransom is paid, they'll not release the data, or the data will not be in secure hands. Phishing is, let's say, through emails. So if the email security is not configured in a proper way, you might come across different kind of emails which are not blocked at the source, and many employees or any of the employees may click on those links and might end up sharing the credentials, which will be harmful for the organizations. And again, malware attacks. So let's say whatever your uh, virtual machines or database, if those are not properly configured through different set of protocols or even services, let's say not having proper VPC configured, not having let's say security groups or enough tightened security, some might get access to a EC2 instance and may spread malicious attacks or backdoor entry to the instances. Again, the threats, and again what it may happen is that you might have to pay the ransom if ransomware attack happens. Phishing might end up asking your employees to share the credentials, which again may not be good for your reputations. And again, malware attacks, the malicious attacks where application data might be stolen, or even the website itself or the business goes down for certain duration. There are ways to protect against it, but again, prevent rather than preventive measures, proactive measures are always better and efficient. What is the takeaway from this is that SMBs are prime targets, and in the next slides we'll see how do we protect against these attacks. Top security threats that SMBs faces today, as we have covered in the previous slides, right? Phishing, ransomware, DDoS attacks to add to it. So let's say if you don't have DDoS prevention in place, there can be bots. There are multiple bots or from same or different IPs that can overwhelm your entire system. So let's say your system, which is designed to handle certain number of users. So let's say you have 1,000 concurrency, you might build your system or design your system for 2,000 or 3,000 users. But suddenly, what if there are let's say million requests flooding your IP or your domain? then there is a risk that entire website may go down, and you'll have to work with your engineers to take it back up in, and that's the direct impact to your business. So we can have some solutions in place, which we'll talk about in further slides, wherein you can build these security solutions into your entire architecture so that these kind of attacks are blocked at the source itself and you are prevented against it. What can we do for ransomware, phishing, and even insider threats is what we'll look for in the next slides. Again, the business impact of cyber attacks. As I said previously, right, any of your application going down or a database going down is direct revenue loss for you. So let's say if you are running an e-commerce website and the e-commerce website itself is not available, right? The users may not be able to add products to the cart, and they'll not be able to make the purchases, which is revenue loss. Let's say you're operating any manufacturing hub. If the CRM itself or ERP itself is not available, right, you may not able to make the transactions, and that will again result in revenue loss. Downtime is for again downtime, which again results in revenue loss as well. So let's say ransomware, cyber attacks, those can cause heavy amount of downtime and data theft as well. So if you are listed in one of the data theft, right, if your data is compromised, that's impact against your business identity as well. So having proper security measures in place, it's always I mean should be the top priority for all the SMBs. Customer trust issues, again, if your website or your application faces those level of downtimes, or you're listed in any of the cyber attacks where data from your particular organization is compromised, right, the customer trust issues will be there. So customers may be hesitant sharing their data with you, sharing their credentials, their email IDs, because once the data is stolen, it's uh, because the data is again personal to those users, right? They may face trust issues shopping from your website or doing any transaction with you. And again, legal and compliance risk as well. So if you are bound by any compliances or any regulatory authority on the top, they have certain restrictions or compliances in place. If they are not followed strictly, if so those fines can also be applicable. um, okay. In the next slide, we'll be covering on the security aspects from the AWS standpoint. So AWS has whole set of securities, right, in place. What I'll cover here is secure cloud infrastructure. What we do in terms of security measures is that we protect. So whenever we are designing solutions, right, we make sure that we secure the environment, or we design cloud architecture in a way that we cover all the aspects, not just cost optimization or or scalability or resilience or all those things, but keeping security as the top priority. Even AWS says that security is job zero for them, so it comes as a top priority while we are designing any solutions based on your budgets, or based on how critical the application is, right, and what are the attacks that we may identify as potential risk. We design the we design the entire architecture in that way. It can be as basic as making sure that data is always protected by a different set of encryptions, right? So encryption can be for data which is in motion, and encryption for data which is stationary. So data which is sitting in your database or S3 or your object storage or your block storage, that will be encrypted using AWS services like KSM or your own keys. So there are customer managed keys, there are AWS managed keys. So that will ensure that even if your data is stolen or anyone has access to that data, they'll not be able to decrypt it, because by default we use 256-bit of encryption, right? And that ensures that data is not in the readable format, but rather always encrypted. Also, in terms of best practices, right, making sure that we leverage multiple AWS services, security services which are there, which is like, let's say, firewall, WAF, making sure that guard duty is configured. We use Inspector, which is one service. There is Security Hub. I'll cover some of those services in the next slides, and we'll also provide some overview and on the other services. What we offer at cloud.in is, right, as part of our managed services, we do 24/7 monitoring and threat detection. So what we cover in 24/7 monitoring is we always have engineers with pre-configured alerts on your infrastructure. So that helps us being proactive if there is any activity or malicious activity is found within your environment, we take action against it in an immediate way. So that does not result in any attack, and then we reacting on it. At the same time, the 24/7 monitoring also helps you making sure that if there is any, let's say, scaling level issues or even other infra level issues, those are also resolved uh, immediately itself. Again, in terms of compliances, if you have any, if you are bound by any compliances or any regulatory authority, let's say RBI, HIPAA, all those compliances, we ensure that the architecture is designed to meet those compliances. And if you have to make any certain changes or even help you conducting those audits and meet the required criteria, right? So let's say if you're conducting, if you're going through any VAPT audit or infra audit, we make sure that we help you in passing those audits and ensuring that your architecture is configured in such manner. Scalable security again ensures that as your infrastructure goes, we scale up the services with respect to security as well, without added complexity. So making sure that firewall is in place and that supports the scalability which your application needs as well. In the next slide, again, with respect to DDoS specifically, right, what I mentioned previously is, let's say any attacker trying to overwhelm your entire application with such level of attacks, right? So let's say, so there are bots and they would try to overwhelm your entire application using different IP ranges from different locations. So what the service that we have to prevent this on AWS is AWS Shield. So what AWS Shield does is that identifies these patterns based on its own data set. So let's say if those IPs are listed as harmful IPs in the database, it will try to block at the source itself. Also, there are by default rate limiters configured within Shield as well. So let's say from same IP, if you are getting multiple requests, and it identifies as a pattern as well. So let's say you are, as one example, right? We spoken about having a, so let's say if anyone is running e-com application and most of your users are from India, and suddenly you are seeing almost 30-40% of application traffic is coming from China region, then those IPs again will be identified and will be blocked at the source. So DDoS, I mean, it works at firewall level itself, at DC level, and will ensure that there are no DDoS attacks on your infrastructure. How it will help you is real-time attack response, as I said, reduce downtime. So it prevents outages. It protects your revenue again, and ensures that business continuity is in place. Again, whatever drawbacks that we saw, if the proper security is not in place, which can harm your business, which can harm your business reputation, the customer trust issues, everything will be eliminated if the DDoS is in place, by ensuring that there is no attack on the environment, and the system will not be all overwhelmed. In the next slide, here we are covering about business data compliances using AWS, right? Protecting sensitive data, we have services like KMS, we have AWS again, customer managed keys or even AWS managed keys, to ensure that we whatever data which is there, right, which is sitting in our S3, which is sitting in our databases, even your block storage or file storage, that is encrypted. So this is something we take as a very serious measure. I mean, during implementation itself, we ensure that all the buckets are encrypted. There are alarms also configured if the buckets are not encrypted or any of the data volume is not encrypted. We ensure that we have alarms configured in place. So a new bucket which is created is encrypted by default. At the same time, if any of the buckets are not encrypted, engineers will get an alarm and they'll quickly act upon it, so that we are prevented, what I mentioned previously, right, having a proactive measures in place. At the same time, let's say data which is in motion, so ensuring that your entire communication, which is intercommunication between services at an application level, also users accessing your application will be prevented by default, ensuring that SSL certificates or TLS certificates are in place. So it's not just for the main domain, but for subdomains as well. And as I said previously, right, something which is very critical, that your intercommunication between the services, most of the times whoever configures the application, right, forgets about these little things, that the intercommunication, let's say if it is happening on HTTP or gRPC, will not will not be very careful about it just because it's an intercommunication, it's not open to public. But this is something that we have to take very seriously. Even the intercommunication between the services at a cloud level, that also has to be encrypted. Again, making sure, like let's say if you're bound by any compliances working out of Europe region, let's say, or US region, right? If you're bound by any compliances like GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS, those certain regulations and compliances will be made. AWS has a service called Security Hub, which checks for these PCI DSS compliances as well. So we can easily check if we are failing out on any of the checklist items. We'll ensure that we properly configure the services in those manners. So the infra is always ready to, if you have to, let's say, go through any compliances or any audits, the infra is always ready for the compliance checks. The business benefits again. Um, so ensuring that data theft does not happen, ensuring that your business is always up and running, both from operation standpoint as well as from, again, resulting in cloud perspective as well, right? Making sure that your business always runs, your website is up and running, scalable, highly secure, ensures that you reduce the financial risk. At the same time, it supports growth as well. Again, I'll talk about AWS Web Application Firewall in the next two slides. So any communication that is happening over layer 7, right? Once we go below the firewall, once the request is, let's say, intercepted at application load balancer level, which distributes traffic across your EC2 instances, or if you have any EKS clusters or ECS clusters for that matter on AWS, right? WAF directly sits upon your cloud front, as well as your application load balancer or app sync or other few services as well. What it will do is, AWS WAF by default has its own rule engine and a certain set of rules applied on top of it. So having OS top 10 as a security rule set is very basic, and this is something you can configure at an application level as well while designing the application, ensuring that the basic attacks, which is as easy as SQL injection, is something which is not tolerated by your application, or something that you future proof your application always. So having these measures in place, so AWS WAF will not just secure you against OS top 10 attacks, but also other attacks, which identifies its signature patterns and ensure that um, they block certain requests. So let's say you can block any request that is coming from China region. Certain IPs which you want to block can be blocked at WAF level. If you want to put any rate limiters on top of WAF, right, that is something you can configure as well. So once you go to WAF dashboard, once you import such rule sets or rule groups, and also what we do at Cloud.in is making sure that we have all those best practices in terms of importing proper rule groups, again, based on what operation or what business that you are under, right? And ensuring that WAF costs are also in check. So once we configure that WAF properly, it will protect you against all these different set of attacks as well. What WAF does is, based on its own threat intelligence and whatever rule groups that we have configured, right, it automatically blocks those attacks. And if you want to, let's say, see whatever IPs that are blocked, or other malicious traffic that has been blocked, you can just go and check in the console. The benefits of AWS security is that protecting brand, right? Ensuring that the data breach that we talked about in the previous or the initial slides, right? The 60% of customer, again, most of the times, let's say if your applications or your websites are listed under these attacks, the customer trust is broken. 60% of the customer leave the website if there is an attack. They'll be hesitant in accessing, in registering to your applications or making purchases from your application, because if the security isn't there, the trust will not be there. It also flags us that the application owners or the organizations itself are not very serious about maintaining or running their businesses. So having these proper security measures in place is always beneficial. Again, as I said, if you protect your brand, if you have these services in place, if you configure entire application in such a way that you don't attract any risks or any attacks on the application, it also increases customer trust. So let's say you're operating in in the industry for 10 plus years and suddenly you are under attack. That's not something that you want to portray into your organization. Again, reduces downtime. So any of the attacks can cause downtime as long as 7 days, and that's again harmful for the businesses as well. So having proper security measures safeguards you against this. Um, Again, lower cost. What we mean by this is, if you are under any such attacks, right? So let's say someone asks you for a ransom, the amount can be crazily high. So let's say someone may ask you for 100,000, $200,000, and having these security tools in place, or security services, or just proper configuration in place, will be much cheaper than what you have to pay if you're identified under attack. So let's say paying few hundred or $1,000 is always cheaper against paying these handsome amounts to hackers to protect your application. Making compliance easy, again, having these security services, proper rule groups in place, ensures that the compliance is in check, and we are always audit ready for all these different compliances, whether it's GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS, or MITI, or other Indian compliances as well. Just to cover a few success stories, what we have, right? Again, one of the online retailers, what we did is, because uh, their entire sales data was locked, what we did is implementing AWS WAF and automated backups to secure cloud. Again, what we did is we avoided those, again, as I mentioned in previous slides, right? Avoiding those different amounts that you have to pay to hackers. That is something which is avoided, and that results in the business benefit. Fintech startups, again, when we are mentioning fintech, right, because we are dealing with a lot of financial data, it's always important that you have proper security measures in place. If the data, again, in this case, the challenge was customer data was exposed to phishing, what we did is we deployed the best in class security services from AWS, which is AWS Shield and Guard Duty, for real time threat detection and taking actions on top of it. What the business benefit for the customer through it was ensuring that customer trust in place, and zero client churn, ensuring that none of their client left because of this reason. Healthcare SMB, again, what we did is there was system downtime during peak hours. The application was not designed uh, to maintain or to for the scale. So let's say if you're, as I said previously, right, if your application is designed to manage 1,000 concurrent users, can you scale it, or can is it designed for the event? So let's say suddenly there is a marketing event that you run and you have to cater to 3,000 concurrent users. Will your infrastructure help it, or do you have to go back to the console and reconfigure it in just for that specific event, and do the scaling and downscaling again? Rather, if you have, let's say, auto scaling groups in place, or the databases which are configured for scale, so let's say using Aurora or other services which are serverless in nature, so they will scale based on user spikes or your CPU utilization, based on how the parameters are configured in place, what are the thresholds that you have put in place. In this particular case, customer faced downtime just because his application was not configured for scale. We set up auto scaling and across the environment, not just one service, but throughout the environment. So let's say for your application, for the database, and for other services as well, ensuring that there was 99.99% uptime, ensuring that application was always up and available even for the scale. Um, the next one is for the small SaaS company, wherein the website was, again, the SQL injection and fewer attacks which were identified. We ensure that WAF is configured with proper rule sets to block the traffic, so that ensured in improved customer experience, and even the attacks were reduced. Okay, what I'll cover in this slide is our own product. As I said, security is job zero for us, right? Ensuring that we have we take care of customer from security standpoint, right? Ensuring that all the security services are properly configured. At some places, we felt the need that we need to have a product wherein we can have a centralized dashboard to review all the activity at an account level, or even multi-cloud level, and monitor customers entire landscape, and take action from the console itself. That's where Rudra Sentinel's idea came into our mind, team's mind, and the product ideation happened in the same manner, right? So what Rudra Sentinel does is so let's say what a typical SIM tool does, which aggregates log from different sources, which is your EC2 instances, databases, and everywhere, and it has its own smart engine in the backend, which allows us to do or identifies if there are any malicious activities which are happening at an account level or even at that particular service level, which will be flagged as red action items, wherein the team will be proactively monitoring these dashboards, and if we identify any threats or any attacks, we can quickly go to that service and take the call. So the example is as easy as, so let's say your EC2 certain port was open and it was accessed by any of the hackers, right? Now let's say that service is not available. EC2, they got the access and they started some crypto mining on top of those servers, and suddenly the utilization is high, and what your auto scaling group will try to do is create another instance, but what actually the usual growth or from the customer side was not there, but because there was a backdoor entry to EC2 instance, and they were trying to let's say use the EC2 instance for different purposes, in this case particularly for um, let's say crypto mining, and that analysis will be directly shown on the dashboard. So from there we can take actions, we can eliminate that EC2 instance entirely, again configure the security groups in a proper way, so there is no outside access to the EC2 instances. Also ensure that only required ports are open, so only AT or other HTTPS ports are open, so that communication will happen only authorized ports itself. Again, stepwise plan. So whenever we are onboarding any customer, right, these are few things that we look after. There is a startup security baseline which is mandated by AWS, ensuring that basic security services are always in place, ensuring that you use MFA for login. So you always have dual authentication, so let's say either from your phone and from your laptop, whoever is accessing the AWS console. Other is ensuring that you have proper services configured from AWS, right? Using IAM along with MFA is one. Ensuring that we have Shield and AWS WAF in place, ensuring that you are prevented against DDoS attacks. At the same time, the cross-site um, SQL injection and cross-site script and those attacks are prevented, right? Uh, Having guard in place ensures that we have proper analysis or whatever suspicious activity that we identify at an account level, right, or even at services level is flagged off earlier, and then our team can take actions on it. Apart from this, there are other services also on AWS like Security Hub, which checks or monitors your entire cloud landscape against AWS security best practices, against PCI DSS, and other certain compliances as well. So you are always compliance ready. At the same time, your basic security services, right, ensuring that encryption is in place, and other attacks as well, right? Those are properly checked, and you can have that again comprehensive overview on the dashboard itself. uh, the last part is having a proper partner help is in place. So let's say if you are not entirely aware of how to configure AWS services, how to ensure that you configure the entire infrastructure in such a way that you are prevented against all these attacks. At the same time, ensuring that your cloud landscape is designed for scale, it is designed for cost optimization, and not just having one or two EC2 instances which are sitting idle in your account and just serving the purpose. Ensuring that the entire architecture is configured in such a way that it supports scale, it supports cost efficiency, ensuring that you use different levers from AWS to reduce the cost, at the same time robust the entire security portfolio as well. So you have overall visibility both from let's say scalability standpoint as well as security standpoint, and rather than acting reactively, you take proactive measures on all these using all these services, and make sure that your entire landscape is prevented. I'm good. I think, I hope the presentation was helpful for all of you. I think we still have 8 minutes left. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I think I'll ask operators to allow you to have mic open. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask.
Thank you so much, Vishal, and thank you, Swapnil. For any question, feel free to raise your hand or put your questions in the chat box. In the meantime, you can also scan the QR code on the screen and share your feedback with us. If you are having any difficulty to put the question, you can just raise your hand. I guess there are no more questions coming up, but in case you have any questions, feel free to connect with us. We will be sending you a form after the session is over. You can also respond to us on the same email as well. So thank you so much all for joining. Have a great day ahead.